Have you ever believed in something so deeply that you started to lose yourself? Spirituality, or spiritual beliefs, is supposed to be a journey toward light healing and awakening. But what happens when that light becomes so blinding, you can't even see where you're going anymore? In today's video, we're going to uncover a side of spirituality that few dare to talk about. The dark side of spiritual beliefs, real stories, real consequences, not to judge, but to awaken. Because sometimes what we believe is light but conveys might actually be darkness in disguise. Part 1. When spirituality becomes a tool of manipulation. Have you ever wondered what would happen if your own spiritual beliefs, the ones meant to heal you, ended up being used to control you? There are countless self-proclaimed gurus out there saying things like, let go to clear your karma. Your family is holding back your vibration, or only I can help you awaken. Sounds spiritual, right? But then slowly, you're being led further in cutting ties with your loved ones, paying more to join advanced workshops, distrusting anyone who doesn't walk in the same light. Some extreme spiritual groups even encourage fasting to the point of starvation, selling off everything you own, or offering yourself to connect with some higher energy. And the saddest part, most people inside these circles don't even realize what's happening. They truly believe they're awakening when in reality, they're being subtly controlled. So how do you know if it's happening to you when you feel isolated, when your choices are ruled by fear, and when you need someone's permission just to be yourself? That's a red flag. A true spiritual path will make you feel more free, more loving toward yourself, and more connected to the world around you, not more afraid or dependent. Remember this. Real light never comes with control. And if someone calls themselves enlightened but demands that you abandon your true self, they're not leading you to awakening. They're leading you straight into the dark. Part 2. Fake light and the rise of toxic spirituality. Spirituality isn't always healing. Sometimes it's just a way to avoid facing yourself. Have you ever heard someone say, why be sad? It's just karma. Or anger is a low vibration. Just don't feel it. Sounds peaceful, right? But honestly, that's just another way of denying your emotions. When we start using spiritual concepts like letting go, transcending low vibrations, or meditating daily to stay positive without actually dealing with the real issue underneath, that's called spiritual bypassing. Hiding from your true emotions behind spiritual language. It's like sweeping dust under the bed and saying, well, at least the room looks clean. But the dust is still there. The pain is still there. Even worse, if you start believing that every negative emotion is some kind of spiritual sin, you might be afraid to cry, afraid to feel angry, afraid to admit you're scared. You'll keep trying to stay high vibe while inside you're overwhelmed and emotionally shut down. But here's the truth. Spirituality isn't about avoiding the dark. It's about having the strength to walk through it honestly and fully. A truly awakened person isn't someone who's always smiling. It's someone who can sit with their pain, look within with honesty, and accept that at the end of the day, they're human. So be careful with fake light. It might look pretty from the outside, but it's the kind of light that slowly pulls you further away from who you really are. Part 3. When illusions are mistaken for awakening. Have you ever met someone who claims they're the chosen one, or that they've fully opened, all chakras, can see the universe or hear voices from the cosmos? Sounds like a sci-fi movie, right? But honestly, in the spiritual community, this kind of claim isn't all that rare. Spiritual awakening is real. But the line between true awakening and illusion can be razor thin. Some people, after deep meditation, extreme fasting, or intense emotional stress, can actually enter a state where they lose touch with reality. They start hearing strange voices, believe they have a special mission, or think others are attacking their energy. What's sad is instead of receiving mental health support, they're often praised, told they've transcended human understanding. And just like that, they sink deeper into a fantasy world. They isolate themselves. Communication breaks down. Sometimes they even refuse medical help, believing they're just going through an energetic transformation. You see, without a strong psychological foundation, spirituality can turn into a beautiful, glittery trance. But real awakening doesn't make you disconnect from the world. It helps you wake up within it. It doesn't float you off into the clouds. It grounds you deeply and fully. So if you or someone you know is having these intense spiritual experiences, remember this. True enlightenment never causes you to lose control of yourself. If you can't tell what's real anymore, it's time to seek professional help. There's nothing shameful about seeing a therapist or a doctor. What is heartbreaking is mistaking a mental health crisis for spiritual enlightenment. Part 4. When ritual becomes dependency. On the spiritual path, rituals can be sacred. They help us connect with ourselves, our ancestors, or the universe. But here's the question. When does a ritual stop being meaningful and start becoming a crutch? Some people light incense at the exact time every day, chant a specific number of times, follow a detailed ritual sequence. Because if they mess up, they believe disaster will strike. Some won't eat certain foods or won't leave the house on bad days because a spiritual teacher said so. Others, after losing a loved one, constantly attend seances, fortune tellers, or do soul-releasing rituals for years, stuck in the fear that their loved one's spirit is still unsettled. At that point, rituals aren't about connection anymore. They're about fear. You're no longer acting out of love or peace. You're acting out of fear of doing it wrong, fear of punishment, fear of bad energy. And the more afraid you become, the more dependent you get. Now, don't get me wrong, rituals aren't bad, but if you feel like you can't live in peace unless you follow a rigid spiritual routine, maybe it's time to pause and ask yourself, am I connecting with spirit or am I being controlled by it? True spirituality isn't in the number of mantras you chant. It's in how grounded and present you feel, ritual or not. If you live with kindness, love, and gratitude, there is no higher power out there looking to punish you. Part 5. When ego hides behind enlightenment. One of the trickiest dark sides of the spiritual path is the spiritual ego. Sounds contradictory, right? Because the more we practice, the more we're supposed to let go of ego. But sadly, that's not always the case. Some people, after taking a few meditation classes, opening a chakra or two, or reading some awakening books, start to believe they're more evolved than others. They begin to look at people with pity. You're still asleep. Your vibration is low. I used to be like you, but now I've ascended. Sound familiar? That's not humility. That's just ego in disguise. It's no longer I'm richer than you, but I'm more spiritual than you. A new form of arrogance dressed in a white robe of enlightenment. And the danger is it's hard to spot because it's wrapped in soft, compassionate words. But underneath, it's full of comparison, judgment, and subtle superiority. Here's the truth. A truly awakened person never needs to prove they're awakened. They're humble. They understand that everyone is on their own journey. No one is ahead. No one is behind. Real spirituality doesn't make you feel better than others. It makes you realize you're not different from others, and from that place you learn to love more deeply. Part 6. When fear is used to sell you light. Not everyone who talks about spirituality actually wants to help you awaken. These days, there's a booming healing market out there where your fears are turned into products. You're sad. Someone will tell you you're surrounded by bad energy. You need cleansing. You're unemployed. That's karma. You need a ritual to clear it. You're single. Your heart chakra is blocked. You should take this course to open it. And guess what? Well, that's sounding kind of believable. Then you're offered energy stones, aura bracelets, 5-level chakra activation workshops, or even a 7-generation karma clearing package for a price that's definitely not cheap. Here's the truth. Fear, if misunderstood, is easy to exploit. These people aren't selling you truth. They're selling you temporary relief. The danger, you start depending on it. Every time you feel anxious, you buy another thing. Every time life feels off, you run back to the healer. Eventually, you stop trusting yourself. You trust the products, the rituals, the promises. But real spirituality, it's not something you can buy. No one can sell you the light. No one can sell you awakening. You can learn from others. But the path to inner freedom is still yours, and it's not wrapped in a shopping cart. Be mindful of anyone who tells you you're not enough and then hands you a price list. Part 7. When chasing the afterlife makes you miss this life. Spirituality often teaches us to believe in reincarnation, karma, and life after death, and that can be beautiful, even comforting. But sometimes those same beliefs can pull us away from the life that's happening right now. Some people get obsessed with their past lives. They go to spiritual readers to find out who they were, what karma they carried, and then blame their current pain on some unprovable past. Others live only for their next life, constantly doing rituals, giving things up, avoiding pleasure, suffering in silence, and all because they think the next life will be better. And in the process, they forget about today. They delay happiness. They put love on hold, push aside dreams, disconnect from family, all for a goal they've never actually seen. Instead of living, they're waiting. But you know what? Even if you believe in 10 more lifetimes, you still only get one chance to live this particular day. True spirituality doesn't ask you to chase a blurry future. It teaches you to honor this moment, to live fully, to sow seeds from kindness, not fear. Don't become a pilgrim of the next life who forgets the journey that's already unfolding right now. You don't have to wait until your next reincarnation to live a meaningful life. That chance is already here with you, right now. Part 8, the loneliness and misguided spirituality. There's a bit of irony here. The deeper some people go into spirituality, the lonelier they become. They start believing things like, I'm no longer on the same frequency as my family. My friends have low energy, or only awakened souls truly understand me. And just like that, they cut off relationships, withdraw from community, and only seek those who share their vibration. At first, that might sound enlightened, but over time you may realize you're living in a kind of spiritual cage. No one really understands you. No one can truly reach you. Any suggestion becomes a blockage, and anyone who sees things differently is labeled as not awakened enough. And then, all you're left with is your beliefs. Misguided spirituality separates you from life instead of connecting you to it. You stop sharing openly with your loved ones. You stop laughing freely with old friends. Every interaction turns into an energy analysis instead of something heartfelt and human. But you know what? A healthy spiritual path brings you closer to the world, not away from it. If after all your inner work, you feel like you have no one left to talk to, no one who relates to you anymore, then maybe, just maybe, you're not ascending. You're getting lost. Awakening doesn't mean isolation. Awakening means realizing that everyone is walking their own journey alongside you. They're just doing it in their own way. Part D, the journey home. What is true light? After all the spirals, detours, illusions, and confusion, maybe what we've been searching for all along isn't some lofty state of enlightenment. Maybe it's simply coming home to ourselves. Spirituality isn't about running away from life. It's about showing up fully for it. It's not about escaping your body. It's about learning to love it. It's not about rising above others. It's about seeing yourself in them. True light isn't something you have to chase down, buy, or receive from someone else. It's already inside you, in every conscious breath, in every time you face your darkness and choose not to run. Real spirituality doesn't make you feel more special than others. It helps you feel connected to everyone, from a crying child to a homeless stranger to your own vulnerable self on your hardest days. If you've ever been hurt by a distorted spiritual path, know this: you're not broken. You were just trying to find your way home. Just like the rest of us. You don't need to wake up faster. You don't need to feel guilty for being tired or lost sometimes. This isn't a race. It's a collection of quiet moments when you're honest with yourself, kind to yourself, even when you're messy, and choose to live gently each day. That is the light, not blinding, not flashy, just a soft glow from within. And if you're walking that path even slowly, even shakily, you're already on the right track. If any part of this journey felt like your story, please know you are not alone. Thank you for being here. And always remember, spirituality is not here to scare you. It's here to set you free.